Welcome friends, myself I am Yoganandam, biology lecturer from Medal Academy. In today's class, we are going to discuss biomolecules part 2. So already we have discussed part 1. From part 1 we have discussed micromolecules and macromolecules. The remaining topics we are going to discuss from part 2. Before going to the topic, those who are watching our YouTube channel, you are requested to like, subscribe and share to your friends. Those who are already subscribed, you are requested to follow our YouTube channel. For more details, free online test, everything, you are requested to visit our website edalacademy.in. Let us continue the topic. First, we are going to discuss about dynamic state or body constituents concept of metabolism. What we have learned till now is that is living organisms, be it is a simple bacterial cell, a protozoan, a plant or an animal, contain thousands of organic compounds. These compounds or biomolecules are present in certain concentrations that may be expressed in cell mass or cell litter, etc. One of the greatest discoveries ever made was the observation that all these biomolecules have a turnover. This means that they are constantly being changed into some other biomolecules and also made from some other biomolecules. This breaking and making is through chemical reactions constantly occurring in living organisms. Together, all these chemical reactions are called as metabolism. Try to remember which topic we are discussing. Metabolism. Each of the metabolic reactions results in the transformation of biomolecules. A few examples for such metabolic transformations are removal of carbon dioxide from amino acids, making an amino acid into an amine, removal of amino group in nucleotide base, hydrolysis of glycosidic bond in a disaccharide, etc. We can list tens and thousands of such examples. Majority of these metabolic reactions do not occur in isolation but are always linked to some other reactions. In other words, metabolites are converted into each other in a series of linked reactions called metabolic pathways. These metabolic pathways are similar to the automobile traffic in a city. These pathways are either linear or circular. These pathways crisscross each other. For example, there is a traffic junctions. Flow of metabolites through metabolic pathway has a definite rate and direction like automobile traffic. This metabolite flow is called as dynamic state of body constituents. What is the most important is that this interlinked metabolic traffic is very smooth and without a single reported mishap for healthy conditions. Another feature of this metabolic reaction is that every chemical reaction is called as catalyzed reaction. There is no uncatalyzed metabolic conversion in living systems. Even carbon dioxide dissolving in water, a physical process, is a catalyzed reaction in living systems. The catalyst which hasten the rate of a given metabolic conversion are also proteins. These proteins with catalytic power are named enzymes. It is followed by metabolic basis for living. Metabolic pathways can lead to a more complex structure from a simpler structure. For example, acetic acid become cholesterol or lead to a simpler structure from a complex structure. For example, glucose becomes lactic acid in our skeletal muscle. The former case are called biosynthetic pathway or anabolic pathways. The later constitute degradation and hence called catabolic pathways. Anabolic pathways, as expected, consume energy. Assembly of proteins from amino acids requires energy input. On the other hand, catabolic pathways lead to the release of energy. For example, when glucose is degraded to lactic acid in our skeletal muscle, energy is liberated. This metabolic pathway from glucose to lactic acid, which occurs in 10 metabolic steps, it is generally called as glycolysis. living organisms have learned to trap this energy liberated during degradation and store it in the form of chemical bonds. Enzyme made available in catabolic reaction is immediately stored in ATP. As and when needed, this bond energy is utilized for biosynthetic, osmotic, and mechanical work that we perform. The most important form of energy currency in living system is the bond energy in a chemical called adenosine triphosphate. It is generally called as ATP. How do living organisms derive their energy? What strategies have they evolved? How do they store this energy and in what form? How do they convert this energy into work? You will study and understand all these under a sub-discipline called as bioenergetics. So it is followed by the living state. As this level, you must understand that the tens and thousands of chemical compounds in a living organism, otherwise called as metabolites or biomolecules, are present at concentrations characteristics of each of them. For example, the blood concentration of glucose in a normal healthy individual is 4.5 to 5 mm, while that of hormones would be nanograms per ml. The most important fact of biological system is that all living organisms exist in a steady state characterized by concentrations of each of these biomolecules. These are biomolecules are in a metabolic flux. Any chemical or physical process moves spontaneously to equilibrium. The steady state is non-equilibrium state. One should remember from physics and systems at equilibrium cannot perform work. All living organisms work continuously. They cannot afford to reach equilibrium. Hence, the living state is a non-equilibrium steady state. To be able to perform work, living process is a constant effort to prevent falling into equilibrium. This is achieved by the energy input. Metabolism provides a mechanism for the production of energy. Hence, the living state and metabolism are synonymous. Without metabolism, there cannot be a living state. The living state followed by enzymes. Almost all enzymes are proteins. There are some nucleic acids that behave like enzymes. They are called ribozymes. An enzyme, like any protein, has a primary structure. For example, amino acid sequence of protein. An enzyme, like any protein, has secondary and the tertiary structure. At the tertiary structure, the backbone of the protein chain fold upon itself. The chain crisscross itself and hence many services or pockets are made. One such pocket is called as active site. An active site of an enzyme is a service or pocket into which the substrate fits. Thus, enzyme, though their active site catalyze reactions at high rate. Enzyme catalysts differ from inorganic catalysts in many ways, but one major difference need mention. Inorganic catalysts work efficiently at high temperatures and high pressures, while enzymes get damaged at high temperatures that may be above 40 degrees Celsius. However, enzymes isolated from organisms who normally live under extremely high temperatures. For example, hot winds and sulfur springs are stable and retain their catalytic power even at high temperatures up to 80 degree to 90 degrees Celsius. Thermal stability is thus an important quality of such enzymes isolated from thermophilic organisms. So it is followed by chemical reactions. The chemical compounds undergoes there are two types of changes. A physical change simply refers to a change in shape without breaking of bonds. This is a physical process. Another physical process is a change in state of matter. when ice melts into water or when water becomes a vapor. These are physical processes. However, when bonds are broken and new bonds are formed during transformation, this will be called as chemical reaction. For example, here one of the equation is given, it is barium with hydrogen sulfide. It gives barium sulfate and water. So that is one of the reaction is given. It is an inorganic chemical reaction. Similarly, hydrolysis of starch into glucose is an organic chemical reaction. Rate of physical or chemical process refers to the amount of product formed per unit time. It can be expressed as delta P by delta T. So refer the equation and rate which is given with the help of symbols. Rate can also be called velocity if the direction is specified. Rates of physical and chemical processes are influenced by temperature among other factors. A general rule of thumb is that rate doubles or decreases by half for every 10 degrees Celsius change in either direction. Catalyzed reactions proceed at rates vastly higher than that of uncatalyzed ones. When enzyme catalyzed reactions are observed, the rate would be vastly higher than the same but uncatalyzed reactions. For example, carbon dioxide with water, the presence of carbonic anhydrase gives carbonic acid. So refer the equation, it is given very clearly. In the absence of any enzyme, this reaction is very slow with about 200 molecules of carbonic acid being formed in an hour. Per hour, how much amount of carbonic acid formed, that is given very clearly. However, by using the enzyme present within the cytoplasm called carbonic anhydrase, the reaction speeds dramatically with about 6 lakhs molecules being formed every second. The enzyme has accelerated the reaction rate by about 10 million times. The power of enzyme is incredible indeed. There are thousands of types of enzymes, each catalyzing a unique chemical or metabolic reaction. A multi-step chemical reaction, when each of the step is catalyzed by the same enzyme complex or different enzymes, is called metabolic pathway. For example, glucose converted into two molecules of pyruvic acid. It is generally called as glycolysis. Refer the equation. It is actually a metabolic pathway in which glucose becomes pyruvic acid through 10 different enzymes catalyzed metabolic reactions. Refer the steps, that is given very clearly with the help of flow chart. We are seeing how does the glucose is converted into pyruvic acid. It is very clearly given with the help of enzymes. At this stage, you should know that in glycolytic pathway with one or two additional reactions gives rise to a variety of metabolic end products. In our skeletal muscle, under anaerobic conditions, lactic acid is formed. Under normal aerobic conditions, pyruvic acid is formed. In yeast, during fermentation, the same pathway leads to the production of ethanol. It is always called as alcohol. Hence, in different conditions, different products are possible. So you try to remember. It is followed by how do enzymes bring out such high rates of chemical conversions? Let us discuss. The chemical or metabolic conversion refers to a reaction. The chemical which is converted into a product is called substrate. Hence, enzymes, that is proteins with three-dimensional structures including an active site, convert a substrate, it is generally denoted as S, into product P. Symbolically, this can be depicted, refer the flow chart. It is now understood that the substrate denoted as ES has to bind the enzyme at its active site within a given cleft or pocket. The substrate has to diffuse towards the active site. There is thus an obligatory formation of an enzyme substrate. It is denoted as ES complex. E stands for enzyme. The complex formation is a transient phenomenon during the state where substrate is bound to the enzyme active site. A new structure of the substrate called as transition state structure is formed. Very soon after the expected bond breaking or making is completed, the product is released from the active site. In other words, the structure of substrate gets transformed into the structure of product. The pathway of this transformation must go through the so-called transition state structure. There could be many more altered structural states between the stable substrate and the product. Implicit in this statement is the fact that all other intermediate structural states are unstable. Stability is something related to energy status of the molecular or the structure. The y-axis represents the potential energy content. You would notice two things: the energy level difference between S and P. If P is at a lower level than S, the reaction is an exothermic reaction. One need not supply energy by heating in order to form the product. However, whether it is an exothermic or a spontaneous reaction or an endothermic or energy requiring reactions, the S has to go through a much higher energy state of the transition state. The difference in a average energy content of S from that of this transition state is called as activation of energy. Chemical reactions require energy for activation. Enzymes eventually bring down this energy barrier. It is generally called as activation energy, making the transition of ES to P more easy. It is a substrate to product. So you try to understand how does the high rates of chemical conversion takes place with the help of enzymes. It is followed by nature of enzyme action. Each enzyme denoted as E as a substrate, it is S binding site in its molecule, so that a high reactive enzyme substrate complex is produced. This complex is short-lived and dissociates into its products. P and the unchanged enzyme with an intermediate formation of the enzyme product complex that denoted as EP. The formation of the ES complex is essential for catalysis. Try to remember, enzyme bind with substrate to form enzyme substrate. Then enzyme substrate that can be converted into enzyme product. Then enzymes and product both are released from one another. The catalytic cycle of an enzyme action can be described in the following steps. First, the substrate bind to the active site of the enzyme, fitting into the active site. The binding of substrate induces the enzyme to alter its shape, fitting more tightly around the substrate. Then the active site of the enzyme, now in close proximity of the substrate, breaks the chemical bonds of the substrate and the new enzyme product complex is formed. Then the enzyme released the products of the reaction and the free enzyme is ready to bind to another molecule of the substrate and run through the catalytic cycle once again. These are the steps given. How does the enzymes carry out the functional activities? That means the nature of enzyme action given very clearly, you try to understand. It is followed by factors. Some factors are affecting enzyme activity. Let us discuss about what are the factors which are affecting enzyme activity. The activity of an enzyme can be affected by the change in the conditions which can alter the tertiary structure of the protein. These include temperature, pH, change in a substrate concentration, or binding of specific chemicals that regulate its activity. Let us discuss one by one. The first one is temperature and pH. Enzymes generally function in a narrow range of temperature and pH. pH means percentage of hydrogen ion concentration. Each enzyme shows its highest activity at a particular temperature and pH, called the optimum temperature and optimum pH. Activity declines both below and above the optimum value. Low temperature preserves the enzyme in a temporarily inactive state, whereas high temperature destroys enzymatic activity because proteins are denatured by heat. The second factor is concentration of substrate. With the increase in substrate concentration, the velocity of the enzymatic reaction rises at first. The reaction ultimately reaches a maximum velocity, is generally called as Vmax, which is not exceeded by any further rise in concentration of the substrate. This is because the enzyme molecules are fewer than the substrate molecules, and after saturation of these molecules, there are no free enzyme molecule to bind with the additional substrate molecule. As Km indicates the substrate concentration at which reaction attains half of its maximum velocity. Km velocity of the enzyme is substrate concentration at half Vmax. The curve is hyperbolic. Then the third factor is inhibitors. The activity of an enzyme is also sensitive to the presence of specific chemicals that bind to the enzyme. When the binding of the chemical shuts off enzyme's activity, the process is called inhibition and the chemical is called as inhibitor. When the inhibitor closely resembles the substrate in its molecular structure and inhibits the activity of the enzyme, it is known as competitive inhibitor. Due to its close structure, similarity with the substrate, the inhibitor competes with the substrate for the substrate binding site of the enzyme. Consequently, the substrate cannot bind, and as a result, the enzyme action declines. Example, inhibition of succinic dehydrogenase by malonate, which closely resembles the substrate succinate in structure. Such competitive inhibitors are often used in the control of bacterial pathogens. You try to remember what are the factors which are affecting the enzyme activity: temperature and pH, concentration of substrate, inhibitors. Okay, these are the factors affecting the enzyme activities. Factors affecting enzyme activity, followed by classification and nomenclature of enzymes. There are thousands of enzymes have been discovered, isolated and studied. Most of these enzymes have been classified into different groups based on the type of reactions they catalyze. Enzymes are divided into 6 classes, each with 4 to 13 subclasses and named according by the 4-digit numbers. First one is oxidoreductases. It is service called as dehydrogenases. Enzymes with catalyze oxidoreduction between two substrates, that is S and S, or transfer of electrons. Example, substrate reduced and substrate oxidized gives substrate oxidized and reduced. And another enzyme is transferases. Enzymes catalyzing a transfer of a group is generally called as G other than a hydrogen between a pair of substrate. It is denoted as S and AS. Example, how does the enzyme catalyzes? That is very clearly given in the form of equation. You go through the equation. It is followed by hydrolysis. Enzymes catalyzing hydrolysis of ester, ether, peptide, glycosidic is in between carbon and carbon, carbon and halide, or P and N bonds. It is followed by lyases. enzymes that catalyze a removal of groups from substrates by mechanism other than hydrolysis, leaving double bonds. So refer the equation, it is very clearly given. Then the next one is isomerases. It includes all enzymes catalyzing interconversion of optical, geometric or positional isomers. Then the sixth one is ligases. Enzymes catalyzing the linking together of two compounds. Enzymes which catalyze joining of CO or CS or CN or PO etc. bonds. So you try to remember what are the 6 classes, that everything is very clearly given one by one. Try to remember once again. Oxidoreductases, it is service called as dehydrogenases. Second type is transferases. Third is hydrolases. Fourth type is ligases. Fifth one is isomerases. Sixth type is ligases. Okay. It is followed by cofactor. This is the last topic from biomolecules. Okay, let us continue the topic. Enzymes are composed of one or several polypeptide chains. However, there are a number of cases in which non-protein constituents called as cofactors are bound to the enzyme to make the enzyme catalytically active. In these instances, the protein portion of the enzyme is called as apoenzyme. 3 kinds of cofactors may be identified, such as prosthetic groups, coenzymes, and metal ions. First one is prosthetic groups. Prosthetic groups are organic compounds and are distinguished from other cofactors in that they are tightly bound to the apoenzyme. For example, in peroxidase and catalase, which catalyze the breakdown of hydrogen peroxide to water and oxygen. Heme is the prosthetic group and it is a part of the active site of the enzyme. It is followed by coenzymes. Coenzymes are also organic compounds, but their association with their apoenzyme is only transient, usually occurring during the course of catalysis. Furthermore, coenzymes serve as cofactors in a number of different enzyme catalyzed reactions. The essential chemical components of many coenzymes are vitamins. Example, coenzyme nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, it is generally called as NAD, and NADP contain the vitamin niacin. Every coenzyme is a cofactor, but every cofactor is not a coenzyme. Try to understand. So which are the things we have discussed under coenzymes? It is followed by metal ions. A number of enzymes require metal ions for their activity, which form coordination bonds with side chains at the active site and at the same time form one or more coordination bonds with the substrate. For example, zinc is a cofactor for the proteolytic enzyme carboxypeptidase. Try to remember, one of the example is given. Zinc is a cofactor for the proteolytic enzyme carboxypeptidase. Catalytic activity is lost when the cofactor is removed from the enzyme, which testifies that they play a crucial role in the catalytic activity of the enzyme. So we have completed the topic biomolecules in 2 parts, part 1 and part 2. To attend free online test as well as to get unlimited number of practice questions, visit our website edalacademy.in. Thank you very much. All the best.
லைக் பண்ணுங்கள், ஷேர் பண்ணுங்கள், கமெண்ட் பண்ணுங்கள், சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணுங்கள். நன்றி, வணக்கம்.